Okay, so I feel very fortunate today to be joined by Magda Dunbar. Is it Magda Dunbar or Magda Ayak? What do you prefer?
Yeah, I'm Yak also because I left my maiden name. Doesn't matter.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
Magda. So, and Magda's been a client of ours for about 4 years now, and she had a little bit of a unique, unorthodox, and probably unfortunate experience in the way that we got started out working with one another. I was hoping I could get Magda's face on the screen today, but her computer wasn't cooperating, so she's calling in. So we're going to have to
Yeah.
I'm going to have to bore you with my face. But so Magda is a resident in New York City, and we had spoken at Notre Dame Academy, her daughter's high school. We've been there for about 10 years, maybe a little bit more. But about 4 or 5 years ago when we were speaking there, we always leave the opportunity for the schools we speak at for families to speak with us individually after the fact. And Magda took us up on that. But she ultimately decided to navigate this situation on her own. And had a little bit of a rocky experience that maybe, Magda, I'll have you tell us a little bit about when you went to go complete these financial aid applications. Why don't you talk to us about that a little bit, and then I can kind of give my viewpoint as well.
Yeah. So most important, you come out of we come out of nowhere. We don't know how the system works. And of course, anyone can do applications. But when I thought it was expensive to use the help. And then when I started doing the application, especially the FAFSA, we did, even how much intelligent you are or how much experience you have in doing application, it's very tricky the way FAFSA asks the questions. And if you're not a professional person in that field or have experience, you know that every answer you write has consequences. And so basically, and sometimes you don't know what numbers you have to put in. So Matt helped me, guide me through it. And actually he did it. And when he did it, then we were able to do the loan, to receive the loan. Before that, it was dragged and we were not approved. I'm not sure what was going on.
Well, I remember, it was, you had approached us kind of after the fact, and Magda's daughter, Magdalena, was fortunate enough to be accepted into American University, and she's thriving there. So I think the end result is a happy one in terms of her experience, and she's going to go on and have a fantastic career. But here's what happened is you were able to say, hey, you know what, Matt, I think we should have worked with you, but can you come and see if you can make any difference? Because American didn't give us any money. So we went in and were able to see that there was quite a few mistakes. And just to just kind of quickly show you a page of the CSS profile, you can see that, for example, here, one of them was, and this is a normal thing because we always talk about the fact that kids, when parents are sending their kids to college, you're talking about your kids and you're talking about your money. It's very nerve-wracking, and it's easy to make a mistake when you're a little bit nervous and you're trying so hard not to make a mistake. But I know that this family does not have $1 million in savings, and they don't have $1 million in their younger sibling's name that they put here in the CSS profile. And the reason why I know they don't have especially $1 million in the younger sibling's name is because Magdalena is an only child. So this is just a perfect example of an honest mistake. Okay, now they're
I misunderstood the question definitely, and I wrote $1 million. I don't know how.
And I don't mean to make you feel bad at all, so don't take it that way. You're one of millions of Americans that have made similar mistakes. But the problem, the really unfortunate circumstance is that even though they had the application submitted on time, and they should have been eligible for a lot of need-based grants, essentially means free money from American University. But American wasn't willing to forgive Magda for her mistake on the application. And not only for her freshman year, even though we were able to prove that there were mistakes, obviously a pretty obvious one is we only have one child. There's not $1 million in her name. And they should have been entitled to tens of thousands of dollars worth of discounts. American University, $0 for their daughter's freshman year and all 4 years. So the only money we were able to get once we corrected the applications was just the federal government money, which translates to about $5,000 to $7,000 each year. Which is 5 to 7.
Yeah, it's even 5, not yeah, it's
5.
very low.
So 5 in your case. So that's that's 5 more than we had to borrow. But it was really unfortunate for us, and we were shocked because it kind of illustrated that they made an honest mistake, and it ended up being a couple $100,000, I guess, that they had to borrow that they otherwise would not have. So again, they've had a tremendous experience at American, and she's going to go off and thrive. Magdalena's going to go off and thrive, I have no doubt of. But to me, this is a perfectly illustrated what could potentially happen if you make a mistake on here. Now, in the same breath, I would like to say that I do think, Magda, a lot of other schools, and again, I don't mean to pick on American here, but this is, as you know, a true story. A lot of other schools, I think, would have given you the benefit of the doubt and would have said, okay, well, you got your applications in on time. You made a mistake. If you can prove it was a mistake, we'll work with you. And unfortunately, that just wasn't your experience there, which, is a shame.
Yeah, I was on the phone with the financial aid officer for hours. I mean, hours trying to explain my situation and how my daughter is eligible for financial aid or whatever it is. And they did not change that decision.
Yeah, no, I
never
know.
Changed that decision. So we're ending up with a big loan now.
Yeah, no, I know, and again, I think ultimately it'll be a happy ending, but it shouldn't have been this way. I just wanted to thank you for taking a few minutes with us, Magda, to share your experience.
Sure.
I don't mean to make you, feel badly about making a mistake, but I know you were kind of motivated to try to help other people not be in a similar situation. And
of course.
Again, I don't mean to pick on American. We've sent a ton of clients there that go have a great experience, but at the same time, you'd like to think that I think a school that does pretty well for themselves could be a little bit more forgiving for parents that make an honest mistake.
Yes, and I think I remember in the meeting you did forewarn us about American. You said that American doesn't give financial aid, and you did mention the schools that they give, but
I don't want to say.
I mean, I kind of remember.
Every situation is unique, but I would just say they are less forgiving than a fair amount of institutions. And again, unfortunately, you had to experience that firsthand. But thank you again, Magda, for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And
thank you so much, Matt, for being a big help.
Okay, you bet, Magda. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now.